The book is called How to Make Enemies and Offend People. It's a collection of non-fiction humor, and it's divided into 5 sections: offending myself, offending the wife, offending big people, offending anybody who's willing to take offense, and there's one more section, offending women other than the wife. So basically, the funda is that if you are trying to be funny, or if you are humorous, you will end up offending somebody or the other, especially given the kind of environment, social, cultural environment we're living in, where you have everybody from the moral police onwards to any jobless kind of an entity, who's willing to take offense and start a morcha or whatever. So it sort of riffs on humor and offense always going together. If you're trying to be very safe in your humor, you might produce something which is safe but not funny at all. So these are all pieces in which I make fun of people who are in powerful positions, either domestically like my wife, or politically. There are ministers who have been offended by some of the pieces and responded and so on and so forth. And basically, I cover a range of subjects from traveling in an aeroplane and a passenger next to you crabs. What do you do? The passenger was maybe 9 months old, but she crabbed and shit all over your trousers. What do you do? So these kinds of not very normal situations and how you deal with them. And many of these pieces are basically to do with what's happening in my head when something unusual is going on in the real world. So, like for example, this gentleman has come and sat down behind me and he's making me nervous and I'm losing my train of thought what I was trying to say. So things like this, how do you deal with it? So without offending. So now he probably got offended and he's walking away. So how do you deal with these kind of situations without offending? And yet all you do is keep offending somebody or the other, and probably somebody you sort of extract a few laughs from it. That's the idea. See, one of the pieces here is on Ajay Devgan's nipples. Okay, that is not fiction. That is non-fiction. There is a real person called Ajay Devgan. He has nipples. His nipples are put up as huge hoardings near where I used to live in Bombay, because the film he was acting in, which was released, needed a poster where his nipples were probably required to be prominent. I don't know. So I wrote a piece on that. So similarly, there is a piece in this which is titled "Should Bongs Be Fried in Mustard Oil?" My wife is Bengali, so I don't. I'm a Tamilian. Mustard oil is not my favorite solution in which you prepare your food. I prefer other kinds of oil, but Bengalis, they are like obsessed. They're mustard oil fanatics. So for me, I'm married to this individual who's my wife, who's Bengali and who likes mustard oil. And how do I deal with it without offending her, without offending with the hypersensitive Bengali sensibility? For them, anything which is to do with something that is bong is very, it's related to Subhash Chandra Bose, so you can't talk about it, or it's related to Satyajit Ray, in which some film is shown mustard oil being poured into something or whatever. So how do I deal with this situation in my life, which I have to do on a daily basis? So this piece deals with that, Yes, you can say that, but they may not always be suggestions that you might like. For example, one essay is about how to become a Swamiji, Like for many years I wanted to be a Swamiji. I was inspired by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, by his hairstyle and the way he speaks, and the way he interacts with people, and the inspirational suggestions he has for everybody. What is the art of living? I've always wanted to become a Swamiji like him and tell other people how to live, tell them about the art of living, and the process maybe learn something myself. So, but I could not fix on a name, How do you, the first thing which is necessary for a Swamiji is to have a good, impressive name. He has taken Sri, he has taken the second Sri, he's taken Ravi, Shankar. So how do you come up with a good name and which will be, good for marketing? So I talk about, Paramananda, Sri Sri Ananda, what would be an ideal name which you have to decide, which you can then market, and then you build your Swamiji as a good brand, Spiritual market is not really easy to get into. There are lots of such Swamijis already. So how do you do that? So this essay gives you suggestions on for everybody who wants to become a Swamiji. So that is the idea. There is one particular essay which I really would want readers to sort of check out. It's called "Wife and the Art of Film Appreciation." This is early days. I mean, this is non-fiction completely. In the early days, I was trying to get her to appreciate art films. I'm a big fan of French art cinema. and she likes films like Jab We Met and Kaho Na Pyar Hai and all that. So I was trying to sort of, despite being a Bengali, which was it was a double embarrassment. So I was trying to get her to watch this French film called 27 Palms, in which nothing happens basically. So it's a 127-minute film. So these guys, there's these two characters, David and Katia, who drive through a desert hunting for locations for their film, which they're going to shoot. So they just drive through the desert at the start of the film, and half an hour into the film, they're still driving through the desert, nothing happens. So my wife gets up, she wants to make tea or something. And as soon as she gets up to make tea, these two, this man and this woman, they get off the SUV and start having sex. So I said, please come, something is happening here. You said, nothing is happening, there's something happening, please come. So by the time she comes, these two have also done so. They've also come. So it's over. Again, the whole thing starts, nothing is happening. So this, I think people would, those who like art films and so on will enjoy this essay. See, I didn't have any particular desire or to write such material. I mean, horrible things keep happening to me. I just write about them. If they are serious, they go into my cultural commentary. If they are not serious, the editor decides it becomes a humor column. I mean, I just write whatever happens. I think that's how it works. I do a regular column for Mint, and then I write other stuff, random stuff here and there. Then I just spend a lot of time doing nothing basically. So I have a lot. I'm very good at entertaining myself. I don't need an external source of rubbish entertainment like television or internet to keep me occupied. I have an inbuilt in-house rubbish entertainment system which functions all the time. So I spend a lot of time just sitting around listening to myself. I find myself very interesting. So some of it is publishable, which is good. Most of it is not publishable, but that's good for me. It keeps me occupied. I think when India becomes Sweden, or we have maybe when Julian Assange comes in, he says no censorship for anything ever. Maybe in such a ideal scenario, maybe it might get published. Otherwise, it'll have to die with me, buried in sheets of paper next to my grave or something.